Convergances are getting a difficulty mode, challenge mode. And they're also getting a leaderboard, something that has been asked for other types of instance content like raids and fractals for over 10 years. So are they trying to convert convergences and meta instance content into the new endgame of Guild Wars 2? Let's talk about it. Subscribe to our channel for more content like this. Go to my Ko-Fi if you want to support me. And let's get into it. So, what is the situation? So we have... This is the wrong thingy. There we go. So we have a new setup, a new thing, a new post talking about the convergences that are gonna become. Then we're gonna get new difficulties for them, right? Not only that, we're gonna get leaderboards and also more rewards for them, a new boss as well. And even though we don't exactly know the details of how these new convergences are gonna be, we actually don't even know if if they're gonna have new mechanics. We don't know if it's only gonna have more health and more damage, and of course we know that we're gonna get more more damage done to us as well, but nothing else, right? So what is gonna happen? Well, it's kind of hard to tell, but it is gonna be probably needed. They're gonna become very difficult, and probably gonna be needed for the new legendary, right? I'm guessing the new legendary tier 2, and I'm thinking that we're gonna need a certain good amount of players to actually go into these convergences to beat them. Convergences right now are actually pretty difficult already. You can fail them very easily by just letting Soja die, right? Which is not it's not an impossible thing to have in public or in privates, right? In private instances, you have to be careful and CC the boss so Soja doesn't take as much damage. You have to be careful with you dying, as you'll become a wisp and you will not be able to help as much. You're gonna have to consider having, depending on the essences you have, whether you want to deposit them to Soja so she survives, or if you want to do more damage and also not die, as getting more essences will give you more damage done to yourself as well. So there's a lot of things that are that need to be considered for convergences. And the cool thing is that as you are going to be able to play them in private, and as they scale, it could be a possibility that playing with 10 players is the optimal way of doing it. I don't know if you guys have done private Dragonstorm, but that's actually how it usually would work, right? You have the public version where a lot of people go to, over 50, and it just goes super fast. Some private groups that do it with more people, but there's also this LFG community thing where you do strikes, and before you do strikes you also do daily Dragonstorm with 10 people. This makes it easier to do and faster, as it's way easier to know that 10 people are doing good damage than 50, right? You can't really tell, hey, everyone here is doing good damage in a 50-man group. It's way harder to control that, and it's definitely harder to get 50 people to be good at the game. But 10, that's definitely doable, right? And that might actually happen in convergences. You have around, in the convergence map, you actually have around 5 spots that you have to cover. East, north, west, so up, left, I guess, up, right, bottom, right, and bottom left to kill the bosses and progress the meta. And of course, you have the center where you have to protect Soja. These 5 places could be covered by only 2 people. It will be a bit harder, but because it scales, it shouldn't be too bad, and maybe even faster. I actually haven't tested this on my own. I haven't really tested convergences like that. I probably should, and I might as well do it tomorrow. I think, just to test it out, or maybe on Friday. But it could get some, maybe it's faster that way. Maybe that's the speedrun way of doing it and the easiest way to do it. And that could actually become an interesting kind of half endgame open world type of content that is also in some way instance content, right? If you want, you can get it with a lot of people. It may be harder, but you at least get a lot of people as well. And also, it could be that having people end up playing it more as an instance type of content because it's so hard or whatever, and you have double content for everyone, right? Open world people are happy, and instance content people are happy. Both. I think that is actually pretty good. We already have this a little bit with stories, story missions and strikes. We are essentially reusing the story missions as a strike thing as well, and that is a positive thing. It's double content for the half the effort, right? And it could be the same thing for metas in the next expansion. Maybe each meta gets an instance version of it that actually has a hard mode where you can decide on how many people you get into it every time. Now, you do have to be careful, as sometimes this can produce people not wanting to go into the public version. I think what's the word? Convergances do it in a good way by essentially asking you for a motivation in order to do the private version of it. This makes it so it's always good to go into a public version for most people, because that way they don't have to pay, right? And the commander doesn't have to pay. So it has a good amount of incentives. You have to definitely, think about how to do this so, one or the other doesn't override, public doesn't override private, and private version doesn't override public. But I'm sure they can do it with the next, whatever the next set of circumstances, the next metas are. We'll have to see, but I'm kind of excited. I'm kind of excited to see how this works. I do think they're going to have to put some good effort into redesigning and reworking some of the mechanics of the convergences themselves and the bosses, if they really want people to take them seriously. Or maybe they were just like, let's do it. It probably isn't too hard to do, to put a hard mode, and of course also to put a leaderboard. It will make some people try hard the game in a better way and have more meaning and attachment to the game, so might as well do it. Maybe that's how it's gonna be. It really is hard to tell. Regardless of anything, both situations are good, and even if they're only being like, might as well, it's not that much effort, that means that they could probably do the same thing for other metas, right? Maybe we end up getting a Dragonstorm CM, right? A Dragonstorm challenge mode. Maybe we end up having a Marionette challenge mode, although that one's already hard. It's already hard enough, right? Battlefront and Sarge hard mode. Who knows, right? We can, if this works, we could actually get a lot of good content, interesting content, and leaderboards for metas, which is super cool, because speedrun, I mean, that's what I do mostly, like meta trains and doing them as fast as you can. And doing that is super, super fun. Imagine if every meta had a leaderboard. That would be awesome. Even if they're not, even if they're not instance. Dragon's End leaderboard, or Etherblade leaderboard. That would be so fun, especially for me. So I'm really liking the idea. I think there's a lot of potential to it. And even if they don't do more with it, it's already a good sign. And of course, also a lot of that potential is being met by doing this at least one time. So we'll see what happens. Tell me if you guys have any cool ideas about this new system that you think could be very good for everyone. And yeah, see you guys around. Love you all. Go to my Twitch to watch me live. Go subscribe to the channel. Go to my Ko-Fi if you want to support me. I need to fix the camera there though. And go to my Discord if you want to hang out off stream. See you guys around. Love you all. Bye bye.